Okay, are we live? All right. Hi, everybody. So, coming back to you live from my office. The next few videos are going to be on and off here, hangar, and here. Uh, kind of just taking some time and starting to do a little bit of work on the wiring. So, I'm actually recording this in full time, real time. And we're going to start off with the electrics with a real simple project. So, here you can see the two pieces of one of my wings for my fly LED lights. Is the left wing. They sit like this, which means the backs need to be wired together. So when it sits like this in the back of the plane, there's a wire that goes from here over to here, and then wire comes out from here and goes towards the control unit, which is inside of the plane. So what we're going to do, just to start off, so fly LED comes with, let me grab this real quick, comes with this strip of connector. This is for, let's see if this will the camera focus on it? Focus on me. Yeah. Anyway, this is a 418 gauge wire kind of connector. It's okay, but it's pretty inflexible. I don't like the way it moves too well. It's a little bit weird. So anyway, I'm redoing it. I'm using something else. Plus, the idea is that they're going to be hooked together like this. When you do that, you still have to get wire out of this middle piece. So the wire either has to come out the side. It makes working with a little bit difficult. So we're not going to use this. Let's see, where is the wire I'm using? So here's the wire, sorry about that. So here's the wire that we're using for it. So this is actually wire that we're using for wiring up the lights to the fuselage anyway. So this is 3 conductor 18 gauge wire, shielded. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a small piece that goes from here, comes up, goes around, and attaches to there. So we're going to start off by cutting a piece about that long. Now I've got several tools to kind of show while we're doing this that are going to come in and out. Here's one that everyone's going to need. Nice pair of side clippers. Let's see. I'm going to guess about, that should do. Shouldn't need any more than that. Normally I wouldn't care about excess that I've cut, except for the fact that this stuff is $1.70 a foot. So there's that. Oh, and before we begin, I want to just give a little shout out. I've never received fan mail or fan packages, but one of the viewers, LT, thank you very much, sir. He's a military guy, and we started joking, so he sent me this, an MRE, meal ready to eat, military ration right there. Cheese tortellini in tomato sauce. So, LT, thanks very much. I'm actually keeping this, I'm thinking about keeping this in the hangar. God forbid if I ever get hungry, I'm going to eat the shit out of this. Let's see. Keep it below 70 degrees. Yeah, we can do that. San Francisco. Look at that. It's got Department of Defense right on it. This is serious. I think this is like 1,300, 1,500 calories or something. Anyway, thanks, LT. Never had people send me free stuff before. I like that. So, yeah, I appreciate it. So anyway, let's get on with this. Yes, let's please get on with it. So, hi everyone. I know you can hear me mumbling in the background there, but the original length of this video was 37 minutes, and I realized if I tried to publish a 37-minute video that pretty much everyone would watch for about 10 minutes, maybe, laugh at me,
and then move on with their lives, which is pretty much what they should do anyway. So what I've done is I'm just going to give you kind of a breakdown of this. This is the first in many wiring videos that you'll see me do. I'm doing all the wiring from the plane myself, wherever possible. Why? Because I'm a glutton for punishment, because I'm cheap, and because I like to learn. And I'll be damned if I'm going to pay someone to do something that I can do myself for my own plane. So what we're doing here is, as a kind of most basic intro, instead of doing something like making a little light kit where we, hook up a power supply and hook up a light bulb and say, look, everyone, power. I'm doing a little bit more hands-on approach. What we're making here, as you can see on my desk, there's the fly LED lights there, is we're starting to make the cabling to connect the fly LEDs to the actual plane. And so what we're going to need is two pieces of cable. One will actually connect the two halves of each wing's lights, and then the other piece will connect those two pieces over to the wing itself. So the fly LEDs actually come with a more or less kind of like a wire. It's actually a flat wire, looks like a flatworm. It's perfectly fine, but I didn't want to use it. I would rather use something smaller, and so I'm doing that here. And not only is this going to be more compact, but this also gives me a chance to practice doing grounds and stuff like that. So what you see on the desk there is I've got a 3-conductor 18-gauge wire. Now, Fly LEDs tells you to use 3-conductor insulated wire, but at the same time, you need to use the shield from it to actually make that a 4th conductor. Okay, simple, no problem. So what do you do to do that? You strip the cover off of the end, exposing the shield. You cut off all except for about a ½ inch of that shield so that you can have a surface for your new wire to actually sit against. You cut a small piece of wire to be that 4th conductor. I'm using solder sleeves. And then so solder sleeves are actually pieces of shrink wrap that have a ring of solder on the inside of them. And the idea being that you actually slide the solder sleeve over the wires that you're working with. In this case, it's the 3 conductors in the wire, it's the shield, and it's the 4th wire that's going to be placed on top of that shield as another conductor. So that solder sleeve fits over all of what I just mentioned. Then you take that heat gun, which you just saw there, which is the oldest heat gun ever. I think that was Mrs. Tesla's hairdryer. What you do is, when that sleeve's in place and all the parts underneath are in place and you turn the heat gun on, it does two things. One, it shrinks the shrink wrap to make sure that those wires are nice and stuck together, and it also melts the solder that's inside the sleeve, thus connecting the new wire to the shield. And that's what you can see me doing here on both ends. When you're done with that, what I do, and by the way, there's the 18 gauge black wire that I'm using as my new grounds. Once those are in place, then I simply strip about a ½ inch of the cover from each one of the small wires on the inside, and then I get my fluke or multimeter because I want to make sure that the new wires that I've made actually work. Using a multimeter, I can set it to a mode that gives me a tone whenever there's a connection. So as long as the two leads touch something that connects or that conducts electricity between them, you get this nice little beep tone, and that lets you know that you've done something right. And here I am just heat gunning that second sleeve on there. As you see, it only takes about 15-20 seconds. And then I disconnect that damn gun because that just scares me. I'm pretty sure it's even older than the house I'm living in. And so there you go. So I've made the wire. So now I need to strip both ends. I need to test it. Now I'm not going to actually put it in its final position yet, which you can see, that's what it kind of looks like at that moment right there. I'm just going to insert this into one of the pieces of the fly LEDs and hook it up to a small power source just to test that that works. And what I have here, and you can see it plugged into that power strip over to the right is a 12 volt, 2 amp DC phone charger. I bought it off of Amazon for about $5, and I bought a tiny little plug-in for it that actually has a couple of leads. Well, actually, it's not a couple leads. It's actually I believe it was originally just like it was for a special type of phone, but I just stripped the wires and I've attached alligator clips. So there I am using the multimeter to test the wire. Note to self, I'm going to need some kind of mechanical arm to hold some of these wires to test with, because trying to place it where I can both see them and have it not move at the same time is pretty tough. So, time to buy things. So yeah, it's, and it's easy. And that's the reason after I did all this that I realized I don't need to show you a 37-minute video. I was really doing it to convince myself that I could actually do this. And you know what? Electricity is easy. Once you immerse yourself in it, and that's what you have to do. You have to immerse yourself in all these things. You want to build a plane. You want to do all the different stuff that's involved in it. You want it to be yours. You've got to know it all. You got to know metalworking. You got to know fiberglass. You got to know wiring. You've got to, and well, I mean, not just wiring. You got to know electricity. You've got to know tons of stuff. Thank God I'm not going to build my own seats. That's all I'm going to say. I am not going to get into leather stitching. That's where I draw the line. Plus, I want it to look pretty, and it would take me forever. So there, the wire is actually in place. And it's attached to one of the LEDs. It's attached to the fly LEDs. And I'm using my multimeter to make sure that I've got a connection, which I do. Well, it's funny. I sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks, who I hope don't sue me for mentioning them. So yeah, now and like I said, this is a very small tester. So my plane is going to be a 12 volt plane, so I got me a little 12 volt charger. Now, like I said, this thing only puts out 2 amps, right, which is 24 watts. That's barely enough to even power these things. As you saw right there, I accidentally hit the strobes. Look at that. How pretty is that? So that's a success. So wiring 101, there's a success. Put wires in, hook up power, doesn't blow up. That's a win to me. So anyway, in the next video, we'll be doing the next piece. So see you soon.